I wanted to bring up, and actually it would be something for you to talk about, Tony, but we're rolling out the Anti-Hunting Alliance. And maybe you could talk about that a little bit so that listeners know what's going on with that.
Sure, I'd love to talk about that. I think that is probably the most powerful thing that we can do, that the anti-hunting community can do. And you see, up to this point, since about 2003, I've been traveling the U.S. half a year every year, and I have been involved in many local hunting skirmishes and battles. All of them, pretty well all of them are lost because the government are always pro-hunting and run by hunters. And I feel that these are lessons that we learn. These losing battles, pretty well almost without exception, maybe with one or two exceptions, when the city councils that vote on whether they should cull deer or not, only in two isolated cases did we win, and that was we eked by with only one vote in city council, and that's sort of clawing on our fingernails, really. So basically, my theory to defeat hunting would be on a national level, starting from Jen Hagginson's court case to challenge the hunter harassment statute in Pennsylvania, which put her almost in jail for just going to talk to hunters to get them to get off her land, and to tell hunters that what they were doing was wrong, when there was one hunter who was about to shoot a deer from the road, and she was put through a meat grinder. Thankfully, she was a lawyer, so she's taken on the Pennsylvania Hunter Harassment Act to be unconstitutional because it hampers her freedom of speech. To just say good morning to a hunter you can be arrested for hunter harassment. And Hagginson now is turning the table against them on an offensive basis. She's launching federal lawsuits against the state of Pennsylvania's hunter harassment statute for being unconstitutional. And she and I have been working together. We try to raise funds for her. She's $12,000 down in the hole right now, and we raised about $5,000 for her in the last Animal Rights Conference. And but she'll be helping us back as a lawyer, and I currently am beginning to organize a coast-to-coast anti-hunting alliance, or AHA, and with such an alliance of mostly regional groups and grassroots anti-hunting groups, not huge national groups. I did invite the In Defense of Animals in California, not invite, but because they were already in there, and to be the hub of this alliance, and they have, in principle, agreed on it. So our first thing is to establish an anti-hunting alliance throughout the nation. So anybody listening in, please join this coalition as long as you abhor hunting in any way, shape, or form. And then after this coalition has been formed, we will be launching lawsuits against the state-level laws which are in favor of hunters, blatantly, corruptedly in favor of hunters. And if once we have defeated all these hunter harassment statutes, then we can begin to go into the forest and talk to hunters and tell them not to do that without the risk of being arrested and jailed. And so this is what we're doing, and I think that this is a very good strategy. It's never been done before, and to fight local battles against local organizations by a grassroots group is usually a losing proposition. But with a national coalition coming down on local city governments, I think will be very successful and very powerful. So, Jason, you are a part of it already. Steve, you will be invited as a to be on the board of this, at least as a director, at least as an advisor. So
I think it's a very opportune time to drive the final nail in the coffin of hunting. But I think the statistics still hold that hunting is in serious decline. And this is because of modernization, urbanization, and the erasement of rural life, and a very busy capitalist existence where everyone is driven and compelled to work. Hunting is not being reproduced from generation to generation, and it's very much in decline. And this is one of the reasons why they're trying to get women into hunting. So if
And
hunting
children,
is on
and
the
children.
ropes right now, we can really take advantage of this opportunity to just pretty much put an end to it.
They're on the ropes, but they're very, very, very persistent, and they
we should not be complacent at all. But this is the very opportune time to really take an aggressive offensive against hunting.
Well, not only is it an opportune time, it's a necessary time, because how better than now? And right now they're just so desperate that they are trying to create a new generation of hunters by getting children as young as 2 or 3 years old to begin to kill animals. California, Placer County is having a child bow hunting scheme going on as young as 12 years old. Let me tell you, if you are a bow hunter, a big husky bow hunter, you can draw a bow of 75 pounds, okay? A 12-year-old kid can draw a bow of about 20 or 30 pounds. A 75-pound bow has an accuracy range of about 30 or 40 yards maximum. A 20-pound bow, 25-pound bow, maybe 100 feet. And and even the 75-pound bows wielded by adult hunters, their mortality rate, fatality rate for the deer is only 50%. In other words, 50 of 100 deer shot by arrows do not die. They just walk around wounded. And for these young children of 12 years old using a weak bow, there would be about, I would say, 75% of the deer shot would not be killed. And that is in California. So, and I think that this is their plan. They are desperate. They need it to rejuvenate the sport, so-called, and they're targeting children. And
very much like cigarette companies, tackling going after young people, people in underdeveloped worlds, people who haven't traditionally been a part of their target audience, because that's a dying industry.
And they have these mega hunting stores like Cabela's and Bass Pro Shop, where you walk in there and it's like a macabre gallery of death. They have all these mounted trophies and heads, and it's a giant. The stores are enormous. I mean, it's like walking into an enormous
if
Walmart.
you go into what's it called again? It's called
Cabela's.
Yeah, I've been there. I've been in 3 of them. They're all the same. It's incredible. I've got photos and photos of them in my space.com/Anthony Marr. Go into the picture section and take a look. And they also have this circular argument too in support of them. For example, our non-lethal solution for the deer situation in your corner of the world. This is just one illustration of the normal mode. Is that they will say that your method hasn't been tried and therefore it cannot be done here. And then, but basically what they're saying is that your method has not been tried and therefore it cannot be done. And we're not allowing you to try it so that you cannot get it done.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
it is
circular argument.
Exactly.
And along those lines, I'll tell you something else interesting. Sylvia, my fiance, called and spoke to. Well, you asked not to mention any names, but she called and talked to the public relations director for the Parks Department here in Johnson County, who are the ones who are administering this deer slaughter. And we've had activists swarming the governor's office and everybody involved, but they're all directing calls back to this guy. And she talked to him for about 45 minutes, and of course she's very passionate about it like I am, and she had a very heated conversation with him. But at one point in the conversation, I don't know if this was intended or if this was a slip, but they studied this deer management plan and deliberated about it for 2 years before they've decided to implement this slaughter, the cull as they call it. And at one point in the conversation, she confronted him as to why they did not give serious consideration to or try to implement our plan, the non-lethal plan. And he said, well, we can't because Kansas is a lethal state. We can only manage the deer by lethal means. So that being the case, what were they studying for 2 years? If it was a foregone conclusion they were going to kill the deer, it was all just a false pretense for the public, the benefit of the public, to make people think that they were considering non-lethal options.
Yeah. Well, the sad thing is this. The sad thing is that even within our movement, we have an opposition. And Jason, you know that. Right. So outline for us what our own opposition says.